Hi guys, welcome back to Saving Salvage and welcome back to the channel. Right, in today's video we are going to be finishing off the A3 3.2 V6. New control module, here she is, turned up the other day. There it is, look, just a second-hand control module off eBay with the exact same part number, £28 delivered. So in today's video we are going to be showing you how to code the new control unit, how to swap it over, and then obviously just test everything works. And to be fair, that was all that was wrong with this vehicle, because as I mentioned previously, I've already done all the work on it with the engine, etc. So if this hopefully works and the indicators work, then we can get it down to MOT, and then that will be this car done, and that will just be up for sale. So as always guys, if you do enjoy these videos, please do subscribe and like if you haven't already, and head over to my Instagram page if you haven't, and start following me on saving_salvage, and let's crack on with today's video. Right, so if you remember from the previous video, we diagnosed the indicator fault on this vehicle, on the A3, to the J519 board nets central control unit, and there she is, just hanging down there. I haven't unplugged it or done anything because I need to show you on VAGCOM how to disconnect. There's no method for disconnecting, but I'll show you what you need to do before you disconnect it. Right, so I've just turned on the laptop, got the ignition in and plugged it into the car. So what we need to do is we need to select, go onto VAGCOM VCDS. I don't know if you can see much on here, by the way. I'm trying to get it as close as I can to the car for you. But what we want to do is we want to go into 09 Central Electrics. And then we want to go into coding. And that is our long coding number. If you see here, it says current coding, and there's a very long number here, look. That is the number that you need to write down. Because, the reason being, all cars come with different spec. So, this A3, for example, has heated seats, electric windows at the front, it has Bose, and it could have other options that it might not have. Every control module is set up for each individual option. So if the car that I've bought the control module off, if that car didn't have Bose, for example, then the coding will be different for not having Bose, and therefore Bose may not work properly. So that is why it's important that you write down the long coding number. Actually, you can see there, it says, please write down the original values before attempting to change anything. Incorrect coding can make a control module non-functional. So there you go, it even tells you before you do it. So we'll write down that long number, and then when we plug our new one in, first thing we'll have to do is code it to that exact coding. Right, so I've just written it down, or I've just copy and pasted the coding number and left it on another document. So now we can unplug it. So ignition up, key out. Right, so we've got the old one out, which is the one on the left, and our new one on the right. Obviously, the first thing you need to do is just make sure all the part numbers are exactly correct. So as you can see here, look, we've got 8PO 907 279 Charlie, and that is the same on that one. And then even our hardware and software numbers are the same as well. Look, so it's H34 and software number is 301. And same on the old one. So all good. The part numbers, the units are both exactly the same. So now we need to swap them over. I've just seen we need to swap over a couple of relays as well, because the old one has a couple of relays where the new one doesn't, so we'll swap them over as well. And when you're trying to remove the plugs on these, you just need to be careful. There's like a little locator tab here, look, and that just slides, look, left to right. And all that does is locks in the connectors. So when it's in its locked position, you won't actually be able to take the connectors out. So you need to make sure you ping this back first. Same with this one, look here, look. Right, so now we'll go back into control unit and we'll go back to coding. And there is our long coding number. So I need to compare it to, and then put a new coding, put it in here, paste. There it is, and then just click do it. Coding accepted. So we just go back to coding. And there you go, look, Central Electrics. Fault codes 3. That's because there's no bulb in my fog lamp and I've got the headlight switch unplugged. So that's absolutely fine. So we'll go back, and now, moment of truth. Moment of truth, I've just put on the hazard switches. And there we go. Working indicator bulb. Bosh. Let's just check the other side. Working. Oh, look at that. Working. That was our one that didn't work. Oh, look at that. Full house. All working. And there we go. So right guys, that is the A3 3.2 indicator problem fixed. So we've changed the Central Electrics, recoded it to the previous coding, and all the indicators, hazard switch now works perfectly. So that is the fault with the A3 fixed. If I'm honest, it was very simple and it shouldn't have taken me a year to be able to do that, but it's done now. So what I've done is I've booked it in for MOT for tomorrow. So what we're going to do now is just get it up on the ramp and just have a general look over it, because obviously it's been sat for a while, just to make sure it's all okay, and hopefully it will pass its MOT test tomorrow. You can see how long it's been sat for, look how rusty the discs are. But it's only surface rust, so no drama. Once they're all good to go down the road, yeah, there's loads of life left in the pads. Once they're all good to go down the road, we'll have to take it for a right good spin. A right good spin. To get rid of all the dust on the brakes, it passes the MOT test. You can see there the shock absorber cover's gone. Quite common on, I don't know if it's just Audis, but it's quite common. They just perish, and then the shock absorber cover drops down. Won't be a fail, just be an advisory. Just looks a bit crap, but it doesn't really do anything. Again, rear discs are just rusty, but the pads are all okay. I'll have a look at the wheels in a minute, but obviously with my hands full, I can't spin the wheel to check for a bearing issue. So again, front disc just very rusty, but I think the pads, yeah, pads are fine. My neighbour did that, although she hasn't admitted it, but that is a very distinctive colour purple, and it just so happens my next door neighbour's car is that exact colour purple. So it doesn't take a genius to work out where that come from, but it's only out of polish out, so I'm not too bothered. That's why I've never done anything about it. Right, so it's got up in the air now, and I've had a look over quickly just so I know what I'm talking about. The only things on the rear is I might get no, I don't think I'll get an advisory for that tyre. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get an advisory for this tyre because it's on about 3 mil and it's quite perished on the sidewalls. I've just had a look at the dot code and it's a 6-year-old tyre, so it's not horrendous, but there you can see my dust cover, look. That's just where it's fallen down. But everything else on the rear is all good. So that's all good. So we move our way down the front. Exhaust is all good. We move our way down the front, and the thing that it's gonna fail on, which I've noticed, which is very annoying, split CV boot. So I don't actually remember that being split when I took the engine out, when I put the engine back in, so I don't know if that's just happened over the last months of it's been sat, I don't know. But tyre's slightly worn on the inside as well, but nothing. No, not really actually, it's pretty minor, but tyres are all good. But other than that, we're all good. You can see I've obviously fitted a new bottom ball joint. Right, just had to pause the A3 for a little bit. I had a few other cars to do in the meantime, so I've had to use axle stands to hold up the front and obviously strap the rear wheels down. But I had to be very careful driving that out because obviously I didn't want it to fall off. Didn't want to break the Transporter or the Mustang. So we've got that in the yard. I had a couple of cars to do. One of them you might be interested in. It's a nice S3 saloon, look. One of my mate's cars rang me up and said he's taken it to Audi and he took it to a specialist because he had a problem with the suspension, but they couldn't find the issue and took it out for a test drive and it was absolutely horrendous. I don't know how Audi or the specialist couldn't find the issue, because just did a shock test on this front here just to check the rebound. I just tried to push it down to see what the rebound was like, and it was absolutely sea solid. So it was quite evident that it had a seized shock absorber. And there is the offending part. I've already swapped it for a genuine new one from Audi, but this shock absolutely seized solid, no compression at all, and that made the car drive absolutely horrendous. So that's all done now, test driven it, drives sweet now. So that was that. So now I've got the A3 back on the ramp as well. I did say, sorry, this is the next day, I get all confused what I've said and what I haven't said. And I was going to take the car for MOT today and then just do a retest on Friday with the new CV boot. Decided that was completely pointless. I might as well just postpone the MOT test, which I've done till Monday. And I've got to just go and collect a CV boot now from the spares shop just down the road. So we're going to replace that CV boot, get some indicator bulbs while we're out, and then hopefully I'll just take it to MOT and it'll pass first time. So we're just going to get it up in the air and then we're going to start working on that near side front suspension. The easiest way I've learned to do out of CV boots, instead of having to remove the whole drive shaft, is just try and pull the hub out the way as much as possible, and then you should be able to get in there and just pop out the CV joint. There we go. One very greasy CV joint. Well, I've decided as well what I'm going to do is polish up these tips, because when the exhaust tips are nice and shiny, it just makes the whole car look so much better. So I'm going to give them a little TLC and get them polished up. Sweet! There we go, look, nicely polished exhaust tips now. Not perfect, but it makes the car, in my opinion, look 10 times better, and it just gives it a much better appeal of just being looked after, really. So there's me nice clean exhaust tips, make the car, sets the car off really. I've just gone and collected my new CV boot outer kit. So as I was saying, we're going to fit it in situ. Just got to cut this last little bit off from the old one here, and then we'll fit it in situ and hopefully get that on and back together, and we can take it for a spin. Right guys, unfortunately we're going to have to stop the video there for tonight. I've just been editing it at home and realised I've got way too much footage for one video, so I just decided to split it into 2 parts. Just makes it a little bit easier, because that means I can release a video to you guys tonight, Friday night, and then do the second part tomorrow night, Saturday night. So I'm going to pause the video there and I will see you guys tomorrow for part 2. Thank you and see you tomorrow.